you ever hear voices in the wind? Noises behind unopened doors? Closing your eyes might help for others, but for you, there's always the After Dark podcast. Welcome back, guys, to episode number 11, numero 11, of the After Dark podcast. Season 2, by the way, not season 1, because I mean, if you're counting from like season 1, it is episode 26 today of season 2, and you know. Okay. Oh. So, hopefully. Oh, by the way, it is Friday, so hopefully you guys are having a really good Friday. Hopefully you guys had a really good day today, a really good afternoon, and are having a really lovely evening tonight. So hopefully, and then have a really great start for the weekend. A safe one too, because we all want to be safe. We all want to be safe. We all want to be in the top of our games, and unhurt. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, stay away from trouble, please. Because if you guys get into trouble, who am I going to be telling the stories to, right? Come on, like. In other words, I don't want to be reading stories about you guys, because then who am I going to be telling stories to? You get what I mean? Hopefully you get what I mean. But hopefully you guys are having a really great evening tonight and are going to have a great and lovely weekend as well, because the weekend's here. And, just like the song from Loverboy, the Loverboy song goes, everybody's working for the weekend. I like that song. It's pretty good. So, without further ado, let's begin by saying thank you guys for the earlier live stream, the gaming live stream earlier. I had a blast. Playing all you guys' levels. They were a challenge. But I enjoy challenges. Who doesn't like stimulating the senses of the brain, right? I mean, I do. And keeps me up and witty. That's what I'm trying to say. So thank you for that. Thank you for the subscribing. I really do appreciate it. Unfortunately, however, I have a widget here on Streamlabs that it would say like when somebody is subscribed, but it didn't show up. So 3 subscribers we got today, and thank you so much. And I didn't get to see anything here because it's supposed to say recent events, yet I ain't got no events. That's what I'm trying to say. Like there was no telling me on what went down and what didn't. So I do apologize for that. It's not my fault. It's Streamlabs' fault. Please don't blame your boy, please. It's bad enough that I'm new to this Streamlabs stuff. Okay, so please do forgive me, and yeah. So thank you so much again. I really do, really appreciate it. Okay, that. And then tomorrow, I forgot to tell you guys what we're gonna be playing tomorrow, Saturday. You know what? I don't know what we're gonna be playing tomorrow, Saturday. I think I'm leaning towards playing a little bit of Super Mario Odyssey, because I haven't played that game in a while, and I haven't passed it yet. You know what I mean? I know, right? Jesus Christ, you haven't passed it yet? Oh man. Yeah, I do apologize that I have not passed it. Oof. Yeah, I do apologize for that. Really sorry, but so maybe tomorrow we'll play some Super Mario Odyssey. I'm not too sure. And by the way, playing Super Mario games, I'm like sort of in a completionist when it comes to Super Mario games, because I want to get everything and such. But if we do play Super Mario Odyssey tomorrow, we'll just run through it. If not, you know what? I think Monster Prom is having an update, So maybe we'll play that instead. I'm not too sure yet. So just give me time, okay? Give me time. We still have this whole night and then tomorrow, so to figure out what we're gonna play. So okay, moving on. So yesterday, oh man, yesterday we had some really great stories here in this website called scaryforkids.com, which, we all figured out that these stories aren't just for kids, but yeah, so it ain't just for kids. So it is they're creepy. They're creepy. But yeah, so let me see. Hold up. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right, I do apologize for that. I had to calm down the voices behind me, so I do apologize. So yesterday we left off with the story called The English Teacher, which shook me towards the end, okay? And then we also had another one called White Lies, which I told you guys that, my pen name, my artist name, or whatever you want to call it, is Shiaki. I had that name since forever, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep Shiaki, and I did. And we read a story called White Lies, and with the unfortunate event that the protagonist, or the protagonist had, her name was Shiaki too, and I was like, oh, jeez, thanks. Oh god. So, oh god, I don't know, but we'll move on. We'll move on. We got our tea ready. Here it is. Oh god, hold up. There we go. We got our tea ready, and this time it's another flavor. And here we go. So the story is called No Thanks. Okay. No thanks. No thanks. Scary story. Yeah. Okay, so this story is based on a tale reported in the New York Times on March 2nd of 1983, and was featured in the book Scary Stories 3: More Tales to Chill Your Bones. So here we go. On Thursday night, a boy named Jim had to work late at the local supermarket. He worked as a stock boy in one of the malls outside of town and was often the last one to leave. By 8:30, his work was finished. He locked up the store and made his way home. By the time he got out of the huge parking lot, it was almost empty. The only sound he could hear was the echo of his own footsteps on the pavement. As Jim walked down a deserted alley, he heard a strange rustling sound. And I do apologize for my dog being a dingus, barking at the air. Suddenly, a man stepped out of the shadows. His face was misshapen and deformed. "Hey kid, over here," he called in a low voice. The man held out his right hand. He was holding a long, thin knife. The razor-sharp blade glistened in the dim light. Jim stopped on his tracks. "Nice sharp knife," the man said softly. "Don't panic," Jim told himself. He was just shaking in his boots. The man took a few steps forward towards him and smiled, revealing a row of rotten teeth. "Don't run," Jim told himself. "Stay calm." "Nice sharp knife," the man repeated. "Just give him what he wants," Jim thought. "Then he'll let you go." The man got closer. He held the knife up. "Cuts nice and easy," he said slowly. Jim tried to stop himself from screaming out loud. The man peered into his face. "Hey kid, you want to buy a knife? Only $3. 2 for $5. It'll make a nice present for your mother." "No thanks," Jim said. "She already got one." And he ran as fast as his legs can carry him. Neon Man, what's going on? Hopefully you're having a really good evening tonight. Now, we were reading a story called No Thanks, and we just finished it right now. First of all, two for five? For two knives for $5? I mean, that's a deal, right? As long as it's not rusty or anything. Hmm. That's good. That's a good knife, I guess. I don't know. So, let's keep going. Let's go into another story. If you have any, any suggestions to read, hopefully they're short. By the way, don't be afraid to speak up, man. I would love to, read anything for the sake of Halloween and the, best month of the whole year, which is October. So this one's called The Shallow Grave. Yeah, The Shallow Grave. Yeah. So we're not gonna read the synopsis. We're just gonna go straight to it. The Shallow Grave. Yeah, so I really do love October, man. October is the best month, and Halloween is the best day of the whole year. I mean, if you wanna, if you wanna count Christmas, but in like past episodes, Neon Man, we were talking about how Christmas is much worse than Halloween, because we were reading stories from like Europe and like how they portray Christmas. Boy, oh man, this Christmas, calm down. You're supposed to be the good guy, and here I am rooting for Halloween. The thing steered beneath the earth. It pushed upwards, clawing its way to the surface. Clumps of mud fell from its mouth as it scrambled out of the grave. Clumsily, it stood up and slowly walked around. The forest was bathed in moonlight, and the twisted trees rustled in the breeze. Where its eyes should have been, they were just black, hollow sockets. Bits of rotting flesh still clung to his skull. The thing steered its moldery arms and legs and shuffled towards. In a small clearing in the forest, Mary lay on the grass, her hands bound behind her back. She tried to scream, but her mouth was gagged. Her brother Jeff was beside her, shoveling in hand, digging her grave. He stopped for a moment and wiped the sweat from his brow. Scream all you want, he said. Nobody can hear you in the woods. We're miles from anywhere. With you out of the way, I can keep the entire inheritance for myself. As you know, I am not the type of person who likes to share. Your husband can't help you now. He's dead. I murdered him weeks ago and buried him out here beneath the stars. Mary stared at him, tears running down her cheeks. Her eyes pleaded for mercy, but Jeff just laughed at her despair. He grabbed her by the arms and threw her into the grave. Then he picked up a shovel and began filling it in, throwing clumps of earth down on top of her. Just then Jeff heard a rustling in the trees. He turned around and saw something that struck fear in his heart. The thing stumbling into the shadows and came straight towards him. Jeff fell to his knees, covering his mouth to stifle a scream of terror. While her brother was distracted, Mary managed to scramble out of the shallow grave, frightened out of her wits. She crawled to safety. The thing grasped Jeff by the neck and squeezed tightly. He screamed as the thing turned into its fleshless face forward. He tried to break free, but the thing's grip was unbreakable. He screamed as it clutched its rotten chest in a deathly embrace. Mary watched in horror as the thing carried her brother to the shallow grave. It fell on top of Jeff, pinning him down with a heavy weight. She listened to her brother's terrifying scream as the thing reached out its rotten arms and clawed at the dirt, pulling it down, burying them both. It wasn't long before the grave was filled, and after a while, the terrible screams ceased. That was an interesting story. Oof. I mean, the husband comes back from the grave just to save his widowed wife's life. Neon Man, the basement. Let me see if I could find it. Oh, is it a scary story? Because if it is, let me see. Is it called the horror in the basement, or is it just called the basement? Because I found one here, the creepypasta wikia.com. I will read that right now. Just let me give my synopsis on the other story that we just read. But yeah, or my thoughts actually. My bad. So yeah, wow, look at that. So greed can take you so long, and it's a bad thing. Fins, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a really good Friday evening tonight. I mean, I know where you are. It's like super late, so thank you for coming by. Oh, it's called What's in the Basement. Okay. What's in the basement? But yeah, thank you, fans. Really, really do appreciate it. Really appreciate you being here. Oh, okay. We read this one actually, Neon Man. But I'll read it. I'll read it out loud. Yeah, we read it. I think once, but I'll read it. I'll read it again for you. No worries about that. But yeah, so greed. Don't be greedy, people. You know what I mean? Greed can only take you so far, and yeah. So we'll save the story that I had in mind for a little later. But for right now, we'll read the story called "What's in the Basement." Mommy told me never to go into the basement, but I wanted to see what was making that noise. It kind of sounded like a puppy, and I wanted to see the puppy, so I opened the basement door and tiptoed down a bit. I didn't see a puppy. Then Mommy yanked me out of the basement and yelled at me. Mommy had never yelled at me before, and it made me sad and I cried. Then Mommy told me never to go to the basement again. She gave me a cookie. That made me feel better, so I didn't ask her why the boy in the basement was making noises like a puppy, or why he had no arms, no hands or feet. Hopefully that was the one, Neon Man. I mean, I enjoyed this one. Like I said, a good scary story doesn't have to be an essay. It doesn't have to be a 2-page essay about how one thing is trying to get to the other. This is this is a perfectly good example of just a 1-paragraph horror story that we can read, and and this was pretty good. So, but my question about this whole story though is why? Like, yeah, I want to know why was there a boy in the basement making noises like a puppy, or why he had no hands or feet. That is what I want to know. Yeah, I like this one, Neon Man. I think this one I read it on episode 1, of season 1. But it's good to come back to them. It's good to come back to them horrors. Also, speaking of things, there's this other one that's called The Basement. It's short, so sort of shortish. So I'll read it. It's from the creepypasta.wikia.com, and it's called The Basement. So here we go. Yeah, by the way, it's a limbless baby. No way, dude. That's horrid. I mean, can't you imagine though? That is like, Oh, but you know what? Hold up. I don't know if you guys seen the movie The Babadook, but that reminds me of it. The ending reminds me of this little story though. What's in the basement? It reminds me of it. So if you guys haven't seen it, and I think I have recommended it, because every after we're done with the podcast, I usually recommend a horror movie to watch after this, and I think I recommended it the story The Babadook. I mean the movie The Babadook. It's an Australian based boogeyman type monster, So yeah, this What's in the Basement really reminded me of that movie. It's a pretty good movie too. If you have Netflix, Neon Man, it's on Netflix right now. I think it's called the Babadook. Hold on, let me write it in chat. Well, actually, I don't even know how to write it myself. Hold on. Oh boy, I am a very bad host. I am learning. called the Baba Duck. Boom. There it is. That's how you spell it. The Babadook. That's a really good movie. I mean, just have patience with it, and it's all good. It's a really good movie. Um, but that's not going to be tonight's recommendation. Though. But if you want to watch it any other day, trust me. Uh, it's about the boogeyman. I mean, if you know what the boogeyman is, then it's pretty much like the Australian version. We also talked about how in many parts of the world there's always like different interpretations of the boogeyman. So the Babadook is definitely Australians' version of the boogeyman. What else? Let me see. I do apologize for the noise in the background. Eastern Europe has someone called the Krampus. That's their version of the boogeyman. Mexico has the man with the sack, el hombre del saco. That's their version of the boogeyman. So definitely the Babadook is definitely, you know, Australians' version of the boogeyman. So it's all right. You know, it's all right. It's an all right movie. Not too scary. Not too, you know. I think, right? Let me see. Hold up. It's supposedly a drama thriller, which, you know, we all know it's a lie. I don't know. I can't find it. I can't find anything that says what rating is it. But I'm pretty sure, because there is no violence in it. Okay. Yeah. So pretty much the Babadook is pretty much, you know, that. Except the Bob. Yeah, you know, I mean, if you want to watch it, or if you can watch it, you know, it's a pretty good movie. Pretty good movie. So, let's move on to this story that we found by accident, but we'll still read it. It's called The Basement, and it's a creepypasta. I'm assuming, right? Because it is on the creepypasta wikia. So here it is. I'll read it after this one, I promise. I was home alone for the week, as my family had gone on vacation while I had to stay and work. It was around 2 a.m. and I stayed up to watch a scary movie in the dark of my basement. I was intent on really scaring myself and seeing how far into terror I could really go while still knowing I was safe in my own home. It was then that I heard pounding footsteps on the first floor. This was common annoying occurrence when a family was home. Every time they passed through the front hall, past the basement door, I heard their footsteps. This time, fear immediately shot through me at the sound. My reflex was to turn on the television off immediately. The basement door was up a flight of stairs and around the corner, so whoever it was would not have seen the light. I heard the basement door handle click and turn as I sat in absolute darkness. I moved slowly so as to be absolutely silent and crawled behind our large television. As I passed to inch by inch, I noted with panic that its black screen still dimly glowed. I heard footsteps coming down the carpet, but creaky stairs. I froze in my hiding place, listening for many long minutes. I heard nothing. Had the intruder seen the television's afterglow, or had it faded in time? Was it standing in the pitch dark, listening to me? I seemed to lie there in total silence for an interminably long time. My panic began to fade, and I began to think more clearly. Had I really heard an intruder? Could someone possibly be standing there in silence for so long without making any noise? The basement was so exceedingly quiet that the silence itself began to hurt my ears. Could the unknown person really avoid any noise from shuffling or breathing or anything else? If there was an intruder, it was still in the basement, because the creaky stairs was incredibly loud. The door handle clicked, and it wouldn't know to mask its footsteps on the first floor. so that they couldn't be heard down here. I began counting in my head and trying to pass the time. As drool fell from my mouth into the carpet, I didn't dare risk the sound of swallowing. I reached I reached 60 seconds once, twice, 3 times, 60 times. But now my fear had faded and I was more confused than anything. I estimated being crouched in the absolute black for almost 2 hours that and had still heard nothing. If there was an intruder, none of that made sense. Finally, I decided that I have got to make a move. If I did nothing, eventually the sun would come up and shine in through the small basement windows. And worse, I began to smell something horrible and cloying. Slowly, ever so slowly, I began inching my way towards the stairs by the ways of the walls. If someone was standing there in the dark, I should be able to go around them and make a break up the stairs. Meanwhile, the horrible odor grew stronger. Then, had something died down here overnight? No living person would smell like that. Terrible images of some sort of corpse monster listening for me in the dark erupted in my thoughts, and I moved as fast as I could without making a noise. Just as I finally approached the stairs, there was an enormous clatter as of something falling or collapsing in the floor. It was at that moment I leaped forward and crashed up the stairs, running out through the open basement door and my wide open front door. Now, certain that someone was in the house, I called the police from my cell phone and watched the house from afar. The police came, checked the inside of the house, and then grimly came back out with a question. They found a body in the house, my elderly neighbor, who seemed to have died of a heart attack. Their belief was that I have left the front door unlocked, and he must have wandered in my house while dying, looking for help. At first, I felt horrible, thinking that I had sat there in the dark while the old man literally died a few feet away. Then it occurred to me, what the hell was that loud noise of things falling that was prompting me to bolt up the stairs and out of the house? I asked the police and they confirmed the back door of my house had been left open as well, near a single bare footprint in the mud. Somehow, for some reason I'll never know, there was someone else in the basement with us, listening, silent, waiting, and listening in the dark over the fresh corpse of an old man. Wow, that was interesting. Let me see. Let me get this straight. He was home alone, 2 a.m. The back door was open. His neighbor comes in, dying of a heart attack. But at the same time, someone or something else came in right after the old man and was just watching, staring, and just waiting for those two to make a move. Ooh, that is... Listen, if you live in an apartment, in a house, and you're the last one to go to sleep, double check your doors. Because like I always say, you may never know who or what can be lurking after dark. That is crazy, Neon Man. And Vince, yeah, wow. No, look. It's not. It's nothing, nothing bad, Vince. I just hope it's not, actually. Ooh. Okay, so I looked up the story called the Big Burrito, and you actually hit the nail in the head, Neon Man, because I do have a section over here of the stories, like scary stories to tell in the dark, and this is actually one of them. So, you know, I'll gladly read it. And your dog pooped. Well, I mean, I guess it is bad because, you know, your dog pooped, but At least it was just poop, right? So let's thank God for that. Um, so this one is hopefully it's this one. All right, because I am in college humor, and I do know that these dudes like to make jokes. So here we go. The big burrito. One day, a man was digging through the fridge in the office lunchroom when he saw a big burrito on a shelf. He pulled it out and admired it. Oh, dude, this is a nice looking burrito, he thought. I'm going to eat it. An hour later, the man heard a strange sound. He listened closely. It sounded like a voice. "Where is my burrito?" It groaned. When the man heard it, he got very scared. But he thought, there's no proof I took it. Then he heard the voice again. Only this time, it was closer. "Seriously, guys, where's my burrito?" It groaned. The man directed his attention back to his computer, hoping that the voice would go away. Then he heard the voice again, right next to his desk. "This isn't cool. Someone took my burrito," it groaned. "I saw Barry eating a burrito," said Carol. "Ah, shit," thought the man, who was named was Barry. He looked up at Todd, who up to this point was just a voice he had been trying to ignore. "Fuck, Barry," Todd groaned. "Why would you do that?" Okay, hold up. That was funny. Oh, Neon Man. You guys gotta get like security or something, you know, like have the what's it called? The home security, because that's rough, man. And fence, you know, maybe your neighbors didn't get robbed, and maybe it was an old man. But still, you know, either way, you know, we don't want no old men to be dying in our houses, right? But yeah, I like the burrito. It's pretty funny. Why would you do that? Eh. Good story. Oh, it was somebody he knew. Wow, look at that. Yeah. Oof. Nowadays, even people that you know are kind of suspect, you know. So you always gotta be careful, man. You always gotta be careful. And just, you know, be good to people. That's all I can say, right? Oh, okay. That's just bad luck, Neon Man. And Fins, what did I tell you? They're gonna be coming for you, Fins. Oh, dude, if you guys haven't seen the movie Night of the Living Dead by George A. Romero, the original one, mind you, like the black and white one. Don't watch the color one. Watch the black and white one. There's a scene in the beginning of the movie where the brother goes like, "They're coming for you, Barbara." But instead of Barbara, "They're coming for you, Fins." They're coming for you, Fins. They're coming for you, Fins. So, speaking of neighbors, Neon Man, I found another story called The Good Neighbor. So, okay, so yeah, this is a synopsis. So let's read it, shall we? One calm, cool day in the middle of autumn, a woman got up early to cook breakfast for her husband and two sons. After they had eaten, the father announced that he was taking his eldest son hiking in the woods behind their house. They also planned to do some fishing in the river. They followed through the heart of the dense forest. The youngest boy wanted to go too, but his father said he was too young to accompany them. Instead, he told him he would have to stay behind and help his mother in the kitchen. The boy was very disappointed, but he obeyed his father and did not complain. The young boy stood with his mother at the back door as they watched the father and eldest son set off on their trip. carrying their fishing gear in their shoulders. They walked down the garden path and disappeared into the trees. Later that day, the wife asked her youngest son to help her prepare the dinner. She told him she wanted to have a hearty meal prepared for the others because they would be hungry when they come back. When the dinner was finally cooked, she sent her son upstairs to wash his hands and waited for the rest of the family to arrive. After a while, she began to become worried. Her husband and son had still not returned, and it was getting late. She didn't hear so much as a word from them since they left that morning. The dinner was getting cold, and they should have been home hours ago. After waiting for another hour, the woman decided to go out and look for them. She went next door and asked her neighbor to take care of the house while she was gone and look after her youngest son. The man who lived next door smiled and told her that he would be happy to help her out. Then, the mother took a flashlight with her and set out in search for the missing family members. The neighbor and the youngest son stood in the back door watching as the mother walked down the garden path and disappeared into the woods. By now, it was almost nighttime and the forest was completely dark. She trudged through the undergrowth and the densely packed trees, calling out their names, but there was no reply. She shone her flashlight this way and that, but could not find a trace of them. After time, she came to the river and was surprised to find her husband's fishing gear lying untethered in the bank. The fishing rod was propped on the stick and the line was trailing in the water. It was as if her husband and the eldest son had suddenly disappeared and left everything behind. The woman picked up the fishing rod and began reeling it in. It was hard work because there was something heavy in at the end of the line. After struggling for a while, she finally managed to land whatever he had hooked on the line. In complete darkness, she pulled it into the bank and then picked up the flashlight and saw what it was. When the woman switched on the flashlight, she was horrified by what she saw. There, lying on the bank of the river, were the bodies of her husband and her eldest son. They had been tied together, and the hook was stuck into her husband's mouth. Both of their faces were bloody and bruised. It was obvious that they had been murdered. Their bodies had been sliced open with a knife, and they had been gutted like fish. It was a horrible sight, and the woman almost collapsed from the shock. Frightened out of her wits, the poor mother realized that whoever had killed the husband and son was probably still on the loose in the woods. She ran frantically through the forest, crashing through the trees and branches, not daring to stop for a second until she reached the safety of her house. As she ran up the garden path, she saw her youngest son peering out of the upstairs window. He stared at her, his eyes widened open and his face pale and frightened. She pounded on the back door with her fist, and eventually her neighbor opened it and greeted her with surprise. The woman rushed into the kitchen and fell into her knees, exhausted, trying to catch her breath. She told her neighbor how she had discovered the dead bodies of her husband and the eldest son in the woods. Tears were streaming down her face, and she was hysterical. The neighbor tried to calm her down and then told her he was going next door to call the police. When the neighbor left, the woman composed herself, then went upstairs to break the tragic news to her youngest son. She was dreading the thought of telling him that his father and brother were dead. When the woman opened her son's bedroom door, she screamed in horror at the terrible scene she found. There, on the bed, surrounded by a pool of blood, lay her son's decapitated body. There was a blood-stained knife in the pillow. His severed head sat on the windowsill, staring out in the window with sightless eyes. The devastated woman called the police, but when they arrived, they found that the house next door was deserted and the neighbor was long gone. For days they searched the wood, but they never found any trace of him. Wow, that is very interesting. Ooh. That's hard, actually. You know, the woods can be hard. Vince, I know you've been on camping trips. Neon Man, I don't know if you've ever been camping, but let me tell you, the woods are like the sea. Like the sea at the ocean. It's how would you say the word I'm looking for? Um, it's unforgivable, you know. And this is why it's unforgivable, because you don't know, you don't know what's gonna happen. Like you may go there for a good time, but the next thing you know, something like this happens. So, like I keep saying, guys, do be careful everywhere you go. You know, me neither, Neon Man. I've never been camping, and I just wouldn't want that to happen, pretty much. so, Neon Man, you want me to read the drum? I'll read the drum. I've read the story before on the podcast. Again, it was season 2, I believe, episode like around 5 or 4. I can't remember. But I'll read it. I'll read it again. I like the story. And oh yes, exactly. I've read this story because I read stories from the boogeyman. From the boogeyman from other cultures. So this story pretty much ties in what we were talking about before. So do behave yourself, people, because we don't want this to happen. Let me just take the sip of my last tea, and we'll get a reading. Some good tea. Here we go. Once upon a time, there were 2 little girls. Their names were Blue Eyes and Turkey. Blue Eyes was named after the color of her eyes, and Turkey, well, after the red dress she wore. They lived in a house in the moor with her mother and their baby brother Arthur. Their father was a sailor, and he was always away at sea, traveling far to faraway lands. One day, Blue Eyes and Turkey went for a walk upon the moor when they met a gypsy girl playing on a drum and danced. Blue Eyes and Turkey were enchanted. They had never seen such an amazing toy, and they begged the gypsy girl to give them the drum. The girl just laughed. I'll give it to you, she said, but only if you are very naughty. Come back tomorrow and tell me how naughty you were. Then we shall see. As soon as Blue Eyes and Turkey got home, they began to behave as badly as they could. They started shouting and spilled their food on the floor. They drew all over the walls with their crayons and refused to go to bed. The 2 sisters did everything they could to upset their mother. The next day, they got up very early and hurried out into the moor, where they found the gypsy girl playing with her drum again. We were very naughty yesterday, they cried. Can we please have the drum now? Tell me what you did, the gypsy girl replied. So they did. The gypsy girl just laughed. Oh, no, she said. You were just a little bit naughty. You're gonna have to be far worse than that if you want this drum. As soon as the sisters got home that day, they were as naughty as they could be. They threw their cups on the floor, they tore their clothes, and walked into the mud up to their knees, and pulled all the flowers in the garden. They also let a pig out of the pen and let it run away. The mother was very horrified by their behavior. If you don't stop this, she said, I'll go away and take Arthur with me, and you'll have a new mother. A mother with a glass eyes and a wooden tail. That scared Blue Eyes and Turkey, and they loved their mother and loved their baby brother Arthur. They could not imagine being without them, and the thought of it made them cry. I don't want you to leave. I don't want to leave you, their mother said. But unless you change your behavior, I'll have to go away. We'll be good, the girls promised. Yet, they did not believe their mother would really go away. She's just trying to scare us, Blue Eyes said. Well, we'll get the drum tomorrow, said Turkey. Then, we can go back to being good again. The next day, the sisters got up very early and rushed off to meet the gypsy girl. When they found her, she was playing with the drum again, and the little mechanical man and woman were dancing back and forth. They told the gypsy girl how naughty they were the day before. That must be bad enough to get the drums, they said. Oh no, replied the gypsy girl with a smile. You will have to do much worse than that. But we promised our mother we would be in our best behavior from now on, said the sisters. If you really want the drum, Gypsy girl, you must be much naughtier. It's only for one more day, Blue Eyes said to Turkey. Then we will have the drum. I hope you're right, Turkey said nervously. Again, she told them that they had not been naughty enough. You must be really bad, she said. As soon as they got home that evening, the young girls set about being as naughty as possible. This time they broke the kitchen table and chairs. They smashed all the fine china and ripped their clothes to shreds. As if that wasn't enough, the girls whipped the dog unmercifully. They beat their baby brother with a stick, and they punched their mother in the face. Their mother began to cry. Blue Eyes and Turkey, she sobbed. You're not keeping your promise. If you don't stop being so naughty, I'll have to go away, and instead you'll have a new mother, with glass eyes and a wooden tail to live with you. We'll be good, said Blue Eyes. We promise, said Turkey. I hope so, said the mother. I can't wait much longer. Please try to behave yourselves. However, the two girls still had their hearts set on the amazing drum, and when they were alone, they said to each other, tomorrow will be good. Once we got the drum, we will be good again. Early the next morning, before their mother was awoke, Blue Eyes and Turkey ran into the moor. There they found a gypsy girl. They told her all about the bad things they had done the day before. We were horrid, said Turkey. We were the worst. We were worse than we had ever been, said Blue Eyes. You have to give us the drum now. This was when they noticed the gypsy girl wasn't playing with the drum. In fact, it was nowhere to be seen. Where's the drum? The sisters cried. The gypsy girl just laughed. It's gone. We gypsies are all going away today. I am the last to leave. But we did what as you told us, cried Blue Eyes and Turkey. Gypsy girl just laughed again. Yes, I know, she said. You had been really naughty, and now your mother has gone away far, far away. Instead, you have a mother with glass eyes and a wooden tail. Blue Eyes and Turkey began to cry. They rushed home as quickly as they could, but their mother and Arthur were gone. Maybe they're just out shopping, said Blue Eyes hopefully. Yeah, they'll be back soon. I'm sure of it, said Turkey, trying to reassure herself. But when lunchtime came and went, and they were still not back, Blue Eyes and Turkey began to feel lonely and scared. They wandered about the moor all day, but when the evening came, they went back home. The lights in the house were off, but when they peered through the window, they could see their new mother's glass eyes glistening in the glow of the firelight, and they could hear the wooden tail thumping on the floor. There it is. Wow. I mean, I like the story. I really do. I mean, back when I was a kid, being bad will just get you into even more trouble. I mean, if I would have heard this story when I was a kid back then, okay, first of all, I'm not that old. Okay. Second of all, so if I would have heard this story when I was a kid, I wouldn't want a mother with glass eyes and a wooden tail. Jesus Christ. I mean, come on. That's scary. That's some scary stuff. I mean, aside from the boogeyman taking you away wherever you are, whether you're in Eastern Europe, Mexico, Australia, and even here in the United States, if you're bad, you're gonna get into trouble. So, it's another example of being good always goes goes a long way. And yeah, it is. It's sad, Vince. It's really sad. The University Dorm Ghost. Alright, I'll look it up right now. Neon Man. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it did say that she got punched in the face. She got punched square in the face, so... Ooh. I mean... Like, how old would you think Blue Eyes and Turkey were? I mean, I don't think it was bad enough to be, to have a broken nose. Maybe she got punched, like, in the cheek or something. I'm not too sure. So the university dorm ghost. Yeah, yeah, that's true, Fins. But you know, who would? Yeah, eight or ten. But who would go the extra mile to put like glass eyes? You know what I'm saying? And a working wooden tail. So think about it. They're 8 or 9 years old, 8 or 10 years old, and the way the stories portray, I doubt they have any internet or any phone. So you know, so the technology isn't that well. That's what I'm trying to say. So where would they get the wooden tail to move? You know, I mean, unless Nanny McPhee over here has one that we don't know about. Um, and Neon Man, I am trying to look for the university dorm ghost, but all I'm finding is a bunch of like 50 most haunted colleges and campuses, stuff like that. You know, opinion, my haunted dorm room, and stuff like that. So uh, I don't know if you can be more specific on the title, um, because I can't find it. Oh my God, is it a Roblox horror story? I just read something that says University Dorm Ghost, a Roblox horror story. I can't tell. Well, actually, first of all, that wouldn't scare me. I would have been like, yo, hey, first of all, what's your secret? Because I plan to eat candy, and I don't want my teeth to fall. So, please, do elaborate. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. Because I'm finding a bunch of, like, haunted colleges and campuses all around. Um, wow, look at that. So, number 46 is of the haunted colleges over here and universities in the United States. Okay, it's not Roblox. Okay, good. It's in California State University, Channel Islands, Camarillo, California. Wow, look at that. I didn't know that. It may have only opened in 2002, but Camarillo, California State University, Channel Island make the most haunted list by virtue of the spooky locality. Okay, the school's campus was constructed in the site of the former Camarillo State Hospital. Regarded campus was constructed on the site of the former Camarillo. Okay, regarded as among the county's most notorious mental hospital facility between 1936 and 1997. Over 1,000 patients died at the institution. Hold up. So you're telling me that this university is built upon some what? Wow. Neon Man, thank you very much for coming to the podcast. Thank you for coming to the live stream as well that we did earlier about the Super Mario Maker. And tomorrow, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to be playing. I'm leaning towards playing a little bit of Super Mario Odyssey, but I'm not too sure yet. So, you know, I'll think about what we're going to play tomorrow. And thank you for the sub again. I really do appreciate you, man. And listen, have a good night and be safe. All right. There's no shame in putting the night light on because we're all scared of the dark, or are we? Keep a flashlight with you, Neon Man. Keep a flashlight, because you may never know who or what is lurking after dark. Oh, look at that, Vince. Maybe you know Neon Man, like you've passed each other, like on the street or something, or maybe you guys even go to the same school. Wow. Or maybe you guys are the same person. Hold up. Cue the sci-fi theme music. I don't know. I don't have that kind of power yet. So, wow. Kansas. So yeah. Let's go to another story. Oh, by the way, this is getting about the time when I say that people, if you guys are listening to my podcast and you guys are in your car, please, I do hope that the car is off or parked. Because because I don't want you guys to be playing with your phones and being in the being driving, which is pretty bad. So please do put your phone away, or if you guys if you guys are hearing my podcast, hopefully you guys are having me in speaker or plug me into the auxiliary cable, and you can hear my beautiful voice in the four corners of your car. So I don't want to be seeing you guys driving and texting. It's so bad. It's literally so bad. I just can't get enough of it. I mean, oof. Yeah, it's just scary even to go outside. Like back then it would just be like, oh, don't go outside because there's bad people. Now, don't go outside because there's bad drivers. Damn. But please, with the love of 1,000 suns, do not play with your phones in the car. Don't drink and drive. Don't smoke and drive. Just drive the car. Get to your destination, do your business, and then come back home safe. All right. We are all waiting for you back home, alive and well. Some dude at the park said that. I mean, I think the saying goes, nobody's scared of the dark. We're scared of what's inside the dark. Some dude at the park, and that's true. Never be afraid of the dark. But like I say in season 2, Fins, like I say, always keep a flashlight in hand. I mean, most phones come with flashlights, so you guys are good. You guys are all good. Okay, so now with that discussion out of the way, let's go to this one, Tales of Terror. Hopefully it's more than one story. Oh, it is, and they're really short stories too. So we're gonna read a couple of them. All right. So yes, here we go. The Tale of Terror. It's called The Faceless Nun. There was a Catholic school that was rumored to be haunted. One day, a teenage girl stayed late after class. After the class had ended, to finish some. Okay, hold up. The vocabulary here is gone out the window. Let me read it again. There was a Catholic school that was rumored to be haunted. One day, a teenage girl stayed late after classes had ended to finish some schoolwork. They're missing a punctuation right there. That's why I got messed up. As she was walking down the deserted hallway, she passed an open classroom. Out of the corner of her eye, she caught a sight of a figure standing in the classroom. She walked back and peeked in the door. There was a nun standing there, scribbling in the blackboard. The nun suddenly turned the face to her, and the girl gasped in fear. The old woman had no face. Her features were smooth like an egg. The teenage girl screamed and fled in horror. She had seen what was written in the blackboard. It scrawled, spidery, handwritten, were the words, "Help me, I'm in hell." Wow, that is. First of all, it's a Catholic school. It's based around religious things, and yet you're having a nun over here, faceless, and writing things like that. Come on, man. First of all, that's rude, but. Whew. Oh man, I think I told you guys about the dream that I had a while back. Like I think in season 1. I'll re-say it again, just for the fun of it. I'm not gonna say the whole thing, but it's basically in my dream. This happened for real, okay? And I still remember it. In my dream, Slender Woman. Hey, I was trying to put Slender and Nun together. It did not come up good. Slender Nun. There. But yeah, in my dream, it was pretty much me. I was walking around, and next thing you know, my dad just tells me if I wanted to go to the end. So we got on a train. The train gets packed. He gets left behind, and then he yells at me. He goes like, "Don't worry, the conductor will know exactly where to drop you off, right?" So I just stayed in the train up until the train was empty. Then I walked over to the where the driver was, and he goes like, "Oh, I know. You don't have to tell me anything. I know exactly where you're going." So I just drove the train. We pretty much drove the train. We then came finally to a terminal when he goes like, "This is your stop. This is the end." And when I got out of the train, the first thing I was met was a really old, like, decaying house. One, two, there was nobody in sight. There was a school right next to me, like on the right side of me. There was a school with no kids in it. All right, so I went like, I was trying to like just turn the corner of the school, and there was nobody else. Like I heard cars, but there were nothing in sight. Right, so all of a sudden I heard something, like I saw somebody else, and I went to tap their shoulder, and I'm like, hey, excuse me, can you tell me where I am right now? And when he turned around, he had no face, just like the nun. I am dead serious. Like he had no face, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a bunch of people just came out with no faces. Men, women, children were just walking towards me with no faces. And then my dad, all of a sudden, comes out of like from the group, but he had his face. You know, he stretched out his arms and said, "Welcome to the end." And then I woke up. That was a crazy dream I had, and I still remember it. No, this was, where was this? I think I was living by Los Angeles at the time. I was living in LA at the time when I had this dream. That was a while back ago. That was scary though. Whew. I mean, I didn't wake up like in the movies. You know how like when in horror movies, like you see somebody having a bad dream and all of a sudden they wake up like just drenched in sweat, like gasping for air. I didn't do that. I just like opened my eyes and I'm all like, oh crap, was this a dream? I was intrigued first of all, and you know, come on. Why did my dream end like that? You know, I wanted to go on, like what would, and now up to this day I have many questions. You know, I'm like one of my questions was like, what would happen if I would have followed my dad? Or what would happen if one of them would, like, you know, to touch me, you know? Like, I wanted to know. But we'll never get the answers to the questions anymore because it was just a dream. Unless we talk about it to some quote-unquote certified story dream teller or whatever. But anyways, you know, that's beyond our grasp, Fins. That is beyond our grasp. Okay. So, we move on to the other story. It's called The Quiet Student. In an all-girls school in the Philippines, it was the first day of the semester. Yeah, I'm gonna stop reading right now, Vince. Yeah, he did. Neon has some really good ones. Like even though I did read some of them, like back in like later episodes, but you know, it's always good to come back to them. I mean, I don't mind if you have any suggestions, Fins. You know, just type them up, and I'll read them before the live stream ends or the podcast ends, or maybe tomorrow earlier, you know, when we're just starting the podcast. So unfortunately though, he's not gonna hear the ending, like the outro of it, to, you know, always bring a flashlight and all stuff like that. But you know, maybe he'll hear it, like, you know, on the replay. So let's continue. There was an all-girls school in the Philippines. It was the first day of the semester. The girls were all in their classrooms and getting used to their new desks. When the school bell rang, the teacher walked and introduced himself to the class. Then he started to do roll call, trying to make sure all of the students were present. When he had finally finished, he noticed that there was one girl whose name had not been called. The girl was dressed in a white shirt and jeans and was sitting in the front row, directly across the desk. He asked the girl if she was in the wrong classroom. She didn't answer, and she stared at him with a blank face. He repeated the question, and she remained motionless. Suddenly, he noticed that the girl was bleeding from the forehead. The entire class screamed as the girl stood up and walked right past the teacher and disappeared straight through the blackboard. Wow. That was interesting. And Vince, thank you for saying that this is the scariest podcast. So I really do appreciate it. I really do. I try my best. And like I said, season 3 of the After Dark podcast, I'll try to do my own things, you know, like my own gift and stuff like that. So maybe for example, like in the background, like I would have like somebody just like putting fire in the wood, you know what I'm saying? Like just sitting down there and just like keep feeding the fire before it dies out. Maybe. But I still have a whole year from October 31st, a whole year to be planning ahead. So it's good to plan ahead. And let me tell you something. The After Dark podcast is gonna be it's gonna change for the best. So, and I'll gather some stories, from everywhere. And once October comes next year, we'll be ready for that. And yeah, fans, like if you have any stories that you want me to read, just send them over to me, man. That would really, really like to read them. Oh crap, my water bottle's all over there. I'm getting my throat very dry, but we do have one more. We do have, I think, like room or time for like two more stories, two more really short stories, or one, depending. Let's just read this one because this one, this story, yeah, just like chopping wood and like going in and out of the house. That's interesting. Yeah, but first I'm gonna have to learn how to make GIFs because I don't know anything of animation. Like, okay, before I read the story, I don't have like any like, how would you say? I didn't go to any art school, right? Everything I know about art is pretty much just me learning it as I go. I see other people do it and I try emulating them and putting my own flavor to it. And that is how pretty much everything is, man. I mean, if you're trying to learn how to do art, if you're trying to do learn how to play music, like any instrument, like don't I don't know, like don't go to a school. In my opinion, you can do it yourself. Trust me, it's easy. With art, it's just putting a whole line together and you'll come up with a picture. With music, it's just a strum of the guitar, and you're pretty much making music. So save your money for like an instrument or art supplies. So that's my own personal opinion. If you do want to go to like schools for that, you can do so. But for me, I'll just sit here and learn myself because we're all capable of that thing. And yeah, I'll keep that in mind, like a guy chopping wood or something. That's interesting. So this is why I wanted to read this one, because we all have this in our house and we don't know if ours is haunted or not. It's called the haunted bathroom. There were three boys in a certain school who were always causing trouble. One day, the three friends were hanging out in the hallway at lunchtime. They saw a girl go into the school bathroom and decided to play a trick on her. They locked the bathroom door and stood outside waiting to see what would happen. A few minutes later, they saw the doorknob turn, then it began to rattle. They heard the girl's voice calling out. They chuckled and didn't answer to her. She began knocking on the door and begging to be let out. They just stood there laughing and teasing her as she pounded at the door. After a minute or two, the girl started crying and screaming at them to unlock the door. The three boys felt guilty and decided to let her out before they got into trouble. One boy unlocked the door and waited, but the girl didn't open it. "It's open," he shouted, but there was no answer. The boys opened the door and looked inside. The bathroom was completely empty. They checked all the cubicles and called the girl's name, but there was no response. There were no windows in the bathroom, and the only way out was the door. At this time, the three boys were creeped out. They ran out of the bathroom, down the hallway. They found the girl standing outside the front door of the school, talking to a teacher. When they demanded to know how she got out of the bathroom, she was puzzled. "But I didn't go to the bathroom today," she said. Wow. So don't pick on a girl or a boy. Don't do that. Come on, man. I mean, listen. There's a story that I told that I accidentally just broke the hinges off the stall. But that was a long time ago, and I was in panic, and I apologized in public, and I'll do it again. Yo, man, listen, if you remember that day, I apologize. With the bottom of my heart, I apologize. I didn't know you were in the bathroom. I was being chased, and I didn't want to be it, okay? So please, find it in your heart to forgive me. But yes, Bathrooms can also be haunted as well. Thank you, Vince. Um, I don't know how to respond to that. Like, I really don't. If you would say, if you would say things like that, like in front of me, um, I would literally just start babbling because I seriously don't know how to respond to that. But thank you though. Thank you for thinking that, Vince. I know I have a lot to learn, and you know, every day comes with a new lesson. So, and yeah, I had no lessons or I didn't go to school. Hey, we're hashtag broke boys. I can't afford school. Damn it, I can't afford drawing lessons. We're hashtag broke boys. So yeah, yeah. Um, but thank you though. I really do appreciate you saying that, man. It brings me joy that you enjoy my art. Really, really, really does. So, but like I said, you know, I am gonna learn how to do animation soon by myself. So, uh, just keep an eye on that. You know, maybe I don't think no, I don't think you were here. No, wait, you know what? No, you weren't because I have an original character, broke boys. Hashtag broke boys. Yeah. So I don't think you were here when I said this or when I introduced her. I do have many original characters, right? Like, but there is a staple girl. You know, staple girl is pretty much like the box girl. You know, you see in front of like comics and stuff like that. And her name is Dorothy. Um, I'll draw her for Halloween for sure. She's an alien. She's a pinup alien, and I'll definitely draw her for sure because I don't think you have seen her. I don't think so. I'm proud of her because she's gone from like many stages from like the first time I learned how to draw to right now. So, well, for the first time I learned how to redraw. Let me rephrase that to right now. So, and then I also have the line of monster girls that I am proud of too. So we have that as well. And the monster girls, I am planning to bring them back on Christmas with Christmas cards. So I had that idea for a while now. So you know, hopefully you're still here with us by the time that comes. So a lot of things are coming, Vince, and I am glad to share them all with you. We're all hashtag broke boys. We're all broke. Anyways, guys and Vince, thank you so much for coming for today's episode. Episode 11. You know what that means. Only 4 more episodes to go until season 2 finally ends. I'm sad. Like, I'm really sad, but you know, like they say, all good things come to an end. But you know, we'll see each other next year. Hopefully, if I'm still alive. You know, hopefully I am. But yeah, hopefully we'll see us next year. Like I did say, Vince, with new animations and stuff like that, with the new background and a new intro. So there's always gonna be a new intro for each season. So, and a new outro. So also be on the lookout for that. My voice is going away and it's getting dry, so I gotta finish this quick. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so. The links are in the description below. You know, you can chat. Send memes, pictures, send anything you guys want. You know, I'll watch it, I'll read it. You know, we're all friends, like I said, right? If you guys have any horror stories, scary stories, fables, folklore, urban legends, anything you guys want to share with me, you can send them to me over with the hashtag The After Dark Podcast S2 for season 2, or hashtag TADP S2. Once again, it's hashtag The After Dark Podcast S2 or hashtag TADP S2. Like I said, it's only 4 more days to get your stories out so I can read them, okay? And I'll give full, you know, full credit to whoever gives me the story. So that's that. So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, you can do so too. You know, I am a digital artist. I am a traditional artist as well, and I usually post every Wednesday or Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. California time. But since it is October, I am partaking in the Inktober challenge, and you know, I'm drawing every day and posting every day. And like I said, you know, we only have 5 more days actually, right? No, right? Yes, 5 more days until October ends, And like I told you, Fins, on the 31st, I am gonna be drawing Dorothy, and sometime from tomorrow till the 30th, I'm gonna be drawing a whole new monster girl. Hopefully, because I still have to think about him. I still have to think what I'm gonna draw. So hopefully, it's gonna be the 10th monster girl, and hopefully you're there to witness the birth of a new monster girl, the 10th one. Because I don't like leaving everything uneven for some reason. So number 10, and she's gonna be there. She's gonna be born. Thank you, Fence. I mean, I thought I had an intro. You know, I always say welcome back, guys, to another live stream. But yeah, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Like I said, November is the time for change, and change we will have. Friends. Change we will have. Movie recommendation time. Oh, this one I saw it yesterday, after the live stream ended, and it's called. You ready for this? 13 Ghosts. A 2001, let me bring out the wiki page, a 2001 Canadian-American supernatural horror film directed by Steve Becks, produced by Robert Zemeckis, Joel Silver, and Gilbert Adler. Its release date was on October 26, 2001. Running time is 91 minutes, and its country of origin is the United States and Canada. So it runs for roughly around like an hour and 30 minutes. So if you guys have an hour and 30 minutes to spare, look for this movie. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. A lot of stories. A lot of ghosts in it. 12 ghosts, and then finally the last one. So it's pretty good. This movie, I think it takes like how can I put it? Inspiration from an old movie called The House on Haunted Hill or something like that, and that's also a good story. Movie. I am running out of breath right now, and running out of time because my throat. I'm just want to cough. But yes, 13 Ghosts. Go see it. Go watch it. Go watch it. Go. Fins, thank you guys. Thank you so much for staying for the whole live stream. So you're the best. I know it's so late right now, and I am gonna finish. So I'm gonna finish soon. Oh, I have my book here, and I'm gonna read the outro right now. But once again, thank you, Finn, so much for coming. Neon Man, thank you for coming as well. If you're watching this on the replay, just like the ending of it, and thank you for anybody who just stopped by and just heard. You know, I mean, next time, you know, say hi in the chat. You know, we're all nice, we're all friends, like I said, right? No enemies around here. So, on that note, make sure to always bring a flashlight. Never walk alone on an empty street. And always, I mean always, double check your surroundings, because you may never know who or what can be lurking after dark. Peace out, everybody. Hopefully you guys have a really wonderful night, and a safe one too, and a pretty good beginning for the weekend. Peace out, everybody. Peace out, friends.